but he has sought the House's indulgence because he's away on the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, on refugees, and also the third African Forum on Cybercrime Conference that is taking place on the 25th and 27th, hence the reason he's not able to be here. So we shall just proceed to the next order.
Order number 8, motion, debate on the President's address, third allotted day.
Okay. Honorable members, those who want to contribute to this debate, please press the intervention button. I can see Honorable Oundo, but you had already spoken yesterday. So I shall start with the Honorable Cynthia Muge, member for Nandi County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to be able to make my comments regarding the State of the Nation Address 2025 made right on the floor of this House. Honorable Speaker, I'm glad that I am still in this House and alive to be able to witness and, most importantly, add my voice to the State of the Nation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first I want to appreciate the President because the things that he mentioned or the things that he submitted officially to the floor of this House during the State of the Nation Address are things, Honorable Speaker, that are not new. They are things that we have been able to hear about them previously in other platforms, Honorable Speaker, because of the kind of person that the President of the Republic of Kenya is. He's the kind of person, Honorable Speaker, who sees it as a very deep responsibility of his to be able to let the people that elected him to be able to guide this country and to be able to lead this country as president, to know what is happening and what ought to happen. And Honorable Speaker, having listened and sat through his speech of the State of the Nation, we were able to then appreciate the person that goes back to the people to inform them about how far we are and how further we want to go. So, Honorable Speaker, I also want to appreciate the issues that were raised. Some of the issues, Honorable Speaker, spoke straight to our hearts, and there are some of the wishes that we really wanted to have them and see them done, Honorable Speaker. Notably, Honorable Speaker, in regards to infrastructure, because we appreciate all his submissions in all the other sectors, the ICT, the transport, the agriculture, and even service delivery in this country. But most importantly, Honorable Speaker, coming from the North Rift, Honorable Speaker, we've had a long-lasting problem since I was born, that we always have traffic while going home every other time. The reason why we have traffic is because of the size of the road that goes from Nairobi all the way to the western part of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, it was more than joyful for me to be able to officially and finally hear the President giving us blow-by-blow plans that he has about the road, Honorable Speaker. So finally, Honorable Speaker, the people from Western Kenya can be able to travel from Nairobi comfortably all the way, Honorable Speaker, to the border in Malaba. Honorable Speaker, this was not just commitments. They were actually official commitments that were made on the floor of this House. Honorable Speaker, I also want to appreciate the members that have been able to speak to the State of the Nation address. There are so many issues that have been raised, and notably, Honorable Speaker, the issue of economic growth rate in this country. And I am happy, Honorable Speaker, because we as a country and as a representative of the people, Honorable Speaker, are finally having a very robust discussion about the growth of the economy, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, I must say that the growth of a country, you cannot assess it without context, Honorable Speaker. It must be assessed with context. Honorable Speaker, you cannot be able to judge the economic growth and performance of a country in isolation. You must be able to put into perspective all the other things that affect the growth rate of economy, Honorable Speaker. We have many things and issues, Honorable Speaker, including global shocks. We've even had pandemics in the previous years, Honorable Speaker. We also have weather conditions that sometimes, Honorable Speaker, affect the economic growth rate. Honorable Speaker, if you're able to look at these items and be able to analyze them objectively, you can then be able to see that Kenya remains a very robust and growing economy as a country. Honorable Speaker, courtesy of this discussion that came up on this floor of the House, Honorable Speaker, I have been keen enough to be able to go to the database that is kept by the country, Honorable Speaker, that is verifiable, that is KNBS. And looking at KNBS, Honorable Speaker, I was interested in looking at the statistics for a few years. And I looked at 2021, Honorable Speaker, where we had a 7.6% growth rate in this country. Honorable Speaker, if you look at 2022 and 2023, we had a 4.9 growth rate and 5.6 growth rate respectively. And 2024, which has been a point of contention, Honorable Speaker, and discussion on this floor of the House, we had a growth rate of around 4.6%. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the last 3 years, you can see that the growth rate of Kenya has been going on very well. And Honorable Speaker, I must say this, if you cherry pick the years and if you cherry pick the sectors, Honorable Speaker, you might not be able to get a conclusive analysis. What you will be doing if you do that, Honorable Speaker, is something called politics, because for you to be able to come up with a proper analysis of economy, you must be able to put everything in context. And this country, Honorable Speaker, the global growth rate is around 3%. And if you look at this country, our growth rate is around 4.5, above 4.5. And if you are in a CBC class, Honorable Speaker, you will go home with a report card that says exceeding expectation, because the global growth rate is at 3%, Honorable Speaker. With a 4.5%, this government and administration of William Samoei Ruto is exceeding expectation in terms of economy, Honorable Speaker. And it is upon us as a leadership, Honorable Speaker, of this country to be able.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nambale. And remember, you have 5 minutes, so watch the lights.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to applaud the President for giving us a very progressive speech that I believe that it will help steer our country forward. Madam Speaker, starting with the agriculture sector, I noted that the President is very keen to ensure that the issue of subsidized fertilizer is distributed even to the world level. Madam Speaker, this will have a big impact because the distribution is initially centered at National Cereals and Produce Board only. But not many farmers were able to move around and collect these fertilizers from the cereal boards. And Madam Speaker, we know that fertilizer will help improve production in our farms. We know that our economy depends basically on agriculture. And when we have this fertilizer distributed near our farmers, we know that many people will have to improve on food security, which will help improve our economy. Then on the issue of the health, Madam Speaker, the President also talked about increasing the issue on contribution share from 550 to 800,000. Madam Speaker, many Kenyans have been suffering on cancer treatment. And we know that this is an issue that the people we represent have been going through a lot of pain to raise funds so that their people can be treated. When we raise the share coverage from 550 to 800, it will be a big relief to many cancer patients. Still on the health sector, the issue of the community health promoters. Madam Speaker, this is another area that is a big gain. We know that community health promoters have really helped, especially in rural areas, on the issue of malaria treatment, diabetes screening, and even hypertension. Many people walk around, but you find that people are diabetic, they even don't know how to detect the sugar levels. But these particular health promoters have been able to move around, screen diabetes patients, and advise them on how to get treatment. Also, still on the health sector, there is this issue of the National Equipment Service project. This, from the President's speech, is going to help us so that hospitals will only pay when they use this particular facility. This is quite different from the earlier model, which was quite burdensome to the county governments. Again, still on health, Madam Speaker, we note that the issue of share enrollment has really improved, and we encourage many Kenyans to ensure that they enroll so that the fund can have enough money to cater for their treatment. On the issue of infrastructure, as a member coming from the western part of the country, it's a big relief because most of our people have been having problems traveling all the way from Western Kenya to come and access the capital city. We know that Nairobi is the hub of this country, whereby many Kenyans come to acquire business commodities. But when they come to buy items from here, transporting them to Western region has been a big problem. So when we have a dual carriage from Rironi all the way to Mau Summit, it's going to open up the Western region and open up the country. Even the other roads that the president talked about, like the Kiambu Road, these are roads that have been linking Nairobi to the towns nearby. So when we open up the Kiambu Road, we open up Ongata Rongai and many other roads. Madam Speaker, we are going to help our country so that people don't waste time on the road, on a traffic snarl-up. I therefore congratulate the President for this progressive statement. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What is your point of order, Honorable Chepkonga?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have a little problem that I need your help. I lost my card and I'm unable to press the intervention button, and I asked the people, and they told me it will take a long time. So I'm requesting that you see me, just to see me.
Now you spent 2 of your minutes.
Yes, I'm just begging you to see me.
But that you could always come and say it on the side here. Yeah. Okay, next we have the Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Pukosa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to make comments on the President's address to the nation in this House on 20th last week. Honorable Speaker, the President talked about many issues, and as the head of state, on matters that touches almost every sector within our country. Honorable Speaker, among them is the creation of the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And I think this is something that many people have been thinking about. And we are hoping that this is going to be actualized, and we want to support the President on this. On the issue of the infrastructure fund, it's a very noble idea. It's a great idea. It's a great dream that will be able to, if it comes true, then this country will be able to move in the right direction. It is important that all of us support this idea, and more so, this country is not always seen as a litigous country. Whenever government comes up with a program that is going to help this country, you will find that somebody rushes to court to block it. And I think that this time, as a country, we need all of us to move together. It is incumbent on us, all of us, to see that this comes to fruition. Honorable Speaker, there's been issues about privatization of many of our non-performing parastatals. And among them is this House passed a paper on privatization of the Kenya pipeline, which I think, Honorable Speaker, is going a long way to make it more profitable, to make it a company that many people would admire, because of late, Honorable Speaker, maybe for the last 10 or 5 years, we've seen Kenya pipeline becoming scandalous, where there is loss of fuel, where there is busting of the pipeline, as we saw it in makwiny, with sabotage. and becoming a cash cow for some individuals to further the tender, even of the pipeline, which we are aware. And therefore, I think it's a high time that we make this not just to be a state agent, but that makes losses, but one that can be able to make profits for this country. Just the same way, a good example which people have referred is the Safaricom. Honorable Speaker, the President also touched on Kenya Airways, that within the next 1 year should be able to move in the right direction, and something is going to be done. I think this is efficient. Our President has good vision for this country, and those of us who the public has given us opportunities to serve in various fields, we need all of us to move together. The advisors, those people who have been given the civil service, let's come together and support this process to make it into fruition. Honorable Speaker, lastly, is the Western Road, the Mau Summit, all the way to Rironi, all the way to Nakuru, Maimayu, and the other one to Maimayu, and to the western part of this country. Honorable Speaker, during the months as we now approach December, the number of vehicles that will get stuck on that road is crazy. And therefore, if this comes into fruition, as it is in the government plan, then things will be able to improve, and this country will never be the same again. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the President's speech.
Thank you. The Honorable Hilary Kosgei, member for Kipkelion West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me join my colleagues in congratulating the State of the Nation address made by His Excellency the President on the floor of this House a week ago, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there comes a time in the history of a nation where leaders are born that are going to transform a country that has so much been left behind by politics, consumed by hatred and the politics of ethnicity, and that there comes a time when God gives a country a leader who is going to develop and spread development across the country, not the skewed development that we have been used from the independence in 1960, Madam Speaker. In 1963, Madam Speaker. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I have heard that people are quoting that facts are stubborn. And I agree with them, Madam Speaker, because facts are truly stubborn. Those facts, Madam Speaker, are saying that foreign direct investment in this country has tripled from 60 billion in 2021 to 195 billion in 2024, Madam Speaker. Another thing, Madam Speaker, is that it is a fact that the farmer registration into the agriculture system has risen from 300,000 in 2022 to 7.1 million farmers in 2024, Madam Speaker, giving the government a scientific intervention tool to give and supply fertilizer needed for the growth of our food production as scientifically, Madam Speaker. It is also a fact, Madam Speaker, and facts are stubborn, that production of maize has grown from 44 million bags in 2022 to 70 bags in the year 2024, Madam Speaker. But more specifically, Madam Speaker, on the President's speech, I want to dwell and to congratulate him on picking the 4 national priorities, Madam Speaker, to invest in people through science and education, Madam Speaker, and to make sure that we increase research fund from 0.8 of GDP to 2% of GDP, Mr. Speaker, by the year 2027. This one will enable us to do scientific research on our crops, including, Mr. Speaker, the new technology that has yielded a lot of coffee called grafted coffee, Mr. Speaker, and all the other researches in wheat and in sugar, where we are looking forward to having cane that matures in 1 year to increase production, Mr. Speaker. The second national priority, Mr. Speaker, is on water harvesting and irrigation. For a long time, this country has depended on the mercy of God, that when rain is abundant, that is when we expect to eat and to feed our population. Mr. Speaker, with the development of 50 mega dams across the country, we will harvest a lot of water and make sure that we put 2.5 million acres of arable land where it has been ignored, Mr. Speaker, in Ukambani, in the coast region, in the northern Kenya, and feed our population, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the infrastructure, the creation of the infrastructure fund and the sovereign wealth fund is an idea whose time is now. And Mr. Speaker, we want to actualize this even from the proceeds of privatizing non-performing government parastatals and agencies, put the seed money of 200 billion to start this fund and make sure that we open up all parts of the country equally, including areas that were ignored, going to Western Kenya, going to Northern Kenya, and every part of the country. We cannot be proud of one single superhighway and quote it as a symbol of success when the rest of the nation is receiving nothing, Mr. Speaker. So I allowed the president for 60% of Kenya that will be recognized with the dams.
So that he's making a lot of sense. Proceed, honorable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the Northern Kenya has been ignored by successive regimes. But some members of this house would want to pretend that when their area is okay, the country is okay. It will not be business as usual, Mr. Speaker. And we have a president who is now open to developing all parts of the country without favor, without discrimination. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, there is no State of the Nation speech made in the floor of this House as important as the one that was made here a week ago, Mr. Speaker. And we are not cowards. We have learned to speak the truth all our lives. We cannot exchange fear and tribal dominance for the truth that we must speak. Kenya must be developed, all parts of this country. And the national cake must be shared equally. And this is the dream of the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, to take Kenya from a third world country to a first world country by developing every area and every corner of this country. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and I congratulate the President for that speech.
The Honorable Chepkonga.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Chepkonga, just 1 minute. I'm sorry, but just 1 minute. I want to recognize the presence in the public gallery of the CDF Committee for Bumula and in Bungoma County. Bumula, that's the Bumula constituency. And I would call upon the Honorable Omboko. Omboko.
Speaker, my name is Wanami Wamboka.
Wamboka. The Honorable Wamboka.
Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
To welcome the committee.
Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to welcome my CDF committee, specifically on bursaries and education. Mr. Honorable Speaker, you would understand that CDF plays a very key role in developing this nation. It has transformed areas that were underdeveloped previously, like the northern Kenya, where you come from, Mr. Speaker. Because of the work of the CDF and the proper usage of these monies, we have seen these areas grow. Honorable Speaker, in Bumula constituency, we have a robust team, majorly consisting of teachers who control education programs and these funds, Honorable Speaker. They are here with us today, led by the CDF Chairman, Paul Silisisi, led by the education team, Mr. Ikanda, and the rest. They have done a good job. I wanted them to have a feel of how it feels to be inside here. And they must continue doing the good job so that their MP continues being elected, so that they continue coming here, Mr. Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much. I welcome my colleagues. Karibuni kwa nyumba. Muriyo muna wasahu.
Okay. Honorable Chepkonga.
Thank you very much, Madam, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Koske. He has contributed in a very fervent manner. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the President's speech, which was, and commend him and congratulate him for a very wonderfully crafted speech that in fact he spoke from his heart. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to three things with regard to that particular speech because of the time's limitation. Number one is the construction of the road between Maimayu and Rironi. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important artery of a road that is going to connect the Western Kenya and Nairobi City. Mr. Speaker, we've been sleeping on the road many times. Like on Monday, we had an accident along Salka. And the queue that was there, we were there for over 4 hours. And I was driving to come back to Nairobi. And Mr. Speaker, 60% of Kenya uses that road to go to western part of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I don't know which other road can be said to be a very major artery in this particular nation. Number two, I listened to someone who just spoke here the other day, because he's no longer the chair of budget. He thinks that when Honorable Atandi is now the chairman of budget, he does not know what he's doing. I want to inform him that Honorable Atandi is very qualified, extremely very qualified, Mr. Speaker. You don't need to be the chairman. You cannot be the only one who can be the chairman of budget so that you can have a good budget. I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Atandi's budget has been a very excellent budget, Mr. Speaker. We have seen a growth rate of 5.9% this last year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know the nominal GDP of this country has grown from 12.9 trillion in 2022 to 16.2 trillion in 2024. Isn't that a miracle? In 2 years. I mean, people, you know, as Honorable Koski has said, facts are stubborn. You cannot run away from that fact. And I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, I want to remember the very famous speech of JF Kennedy, when he said, tell the people the truth and you shall be free. And we are telling people the truth, Mr. Speaker, so that they can be free of lies. People who say things that are concocted, things because it is not you, you now want to muddy and muddle facts which are as clear as between day and night. Mr. Speaker, you know, as I do, that the NSSF, from 1963 to 2022, our contribution and capitation in NSSF was 320 billion. As of last month, the capitation of NSSF is now 640 billion. We have doubled it in 2 years. Mr. Speaker, you know what that means. In the next 3 years, we will reach 1 trillion in our contribution. You know, this is a very sad situation. How do you pass a law which says, I will contribute 10% of my salary as to NSSF, up to a maximum of 200 shillings. That's a very scandalous law, Mr. Speaker. Up to a maximum of 200 shillings. When I retire, after working for this nation for 35 years, I calculated, Mr. Speaker, I will be paid 340,000 shillings. Even the vehicles that you drive, Mr. Speaker, the insurance alone for 1 year is 400,000. So you are telling me, Mr. Speaker, that when I retire now, because I used to contribute up to a maximum of 200 shillings, and I was supposed to contribute 10%, which ought to have been something in the region of about 25,000 shillings. That was, in fact, something that must not or ought not to have been done. And this president has corrected that anomaly. And we should congratulate him and thank him. In fact, we should be borrowing these funds now to construct roads in this country. We've seen the TSSF from Tanzania are constructing a 30...
Honorable Chepkonga, the Honorable lady would want to inform you. Are you willing to accept the information?
Yes, in fact, she's a very gracious lady.
Yeah, she's the youngest in Parliament, so...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and Honorable Chepkonga for allowing to be informed by me. Honorable Speaker, picking from the thought of Honorable Chepkonga, where he makes reference to the growth rate of this country in the GDP, Honorable Speaker, he has also slightly made an insinuation about the previous administration. So, Honorable Speaker, like I said in my speech, and I want to be able to, in my contribution, I want to be able to inform Honorable Chepkonga, we cannot cherry pick the years, and we cannot be able to selectively pick out the sectors to be able to analyze, so that we can get the situation of the economy of a country. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at the data, in the year 2008, when Mwai Kibaki was the president of this country, we had a growth rate of 0.2% because of the effects of post-election violence. In the year 2017, Honorable Speaker, when Uhuru Kenyatta was president, we had a growth rate of 3.8, which is among the low ones, Honorable Speaker. In the year 2021, Honorable Speaker, we had, because of COVID issues and whatnot, we had an economic drop in growth of negative 0.3% when Uhuru Kenyatta was president. Honorable Speaker, to say that this administration has an all-time low growth rate or slow growth rate, Honorable Speaker, is something I would term as something called nostalgia narrative, because we want to live in the past. This administration is on proper course, Honorable Speaker, in terms of growth and economic growth rate. And we cannot cherry pick the years and the sectors to be able to compare. That is not called analysis. It is called politics. And that is what it is, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough, Honorable Chepkonga, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm not the only one who has been informed, including the one who was also misled, who contributed to some fake information here, Mr. Speaker. I can see that there is highly technical information from the Honorable, Kenyan National Bureau of Standards, real report, Mr. Speaker, from the Honorable Muge, who appears to be more schooled than even those ones who misled us. I want to thank you very much for informing me and informing even the other one. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that we have seen for the first time a tarmac road from Marsabit heading to Wajir. People who have never seen a tarmac road. In fact, they were asking themselves, what is this black thing? In fact, they were going to dig and take it to their house. They were told, no, it's for you to use it. Mr. Speaker, you know, you can imagine some nations, some parts of this country. I know we were with Honorable Wajir to Mandera.
Not order.
Okay.
I think you meant Wajir to Mandera, not Marsabit to Wajir. It's proceed. Is that the information you wanted to give him? Fair enough. He has the information. The chair has volunteered to give him that. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, you can see how we are ignorant of some places.
Yes.
Because there are no roads.
Yes.
If there was a tarmac road, I would be in Wajir, I would be in Mandera. There was no reason why I should not travel to this country and become a local tourist. Yes. In fact, and we know that the fauna and the flora that you have in those parts of the country is extremely very good, and it is where we should all be going for our local tourists. With those very many comments, Mr. Speaker, I wish to support the President's wonderful speech, just borrowing the words of President Donald Trump, who Christians everything to be wonderful and super. And that speech, Mr. Speaker, was also wonderful and super. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Kirima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important debate. The report from the President, the report which we received from the President Mr. Speaker, the report from the President gave directions of how this country is going to forge forward. A number of issues were raised, or the President gave us direction on a number of issues which this country is going through and is expected to go through to make it a more undeveloped nation than the way it is. Mr. Speaker, sir, according to the President's speech, we intend to have this country moving from a third world country to the first world country, as we were supposed to be compared with countries which were equal to us in the years of independence, 1960s and 1970s. The report which the President gave, especially on the part of agriculture, shows clearly, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we are actually on that direction. The idea of easing the burden of availability of fertilizer to the farmers. Actually, that's one of the most important aspects which I see that the President looked upon, taking into account that you cannot be able to rule or to make an angry country and developed country. To reduce the value of fertilizer, the cost from 7,500 Kenya shillings to 2,500 Kenya shillings. That's an achievement, and a great achievement, which, as we innovate all other things, we should look at it positively. Because with the kind of pieces of land we have in various parts of Kenya, we have been cultivating these pieces of land from time immemorial. And the fertility of these pieces of land has gone down so much that it requires an additional value. It requires looking at it substantively to see that it increases the value of production so that at least we can be able to feed the nation. So I take that the President has done so much on the aspect of agriculture, not forgetting that the distribution of this fertilizer comes all the way from the national region, whereby it goes to the county areas, and then to the ward areas, so that the common mwananchi will not suffer so much as he endears to get the fertilizer to supply to his farm and to have the input at the right time so that he can have adequate production. Mr. Speaker, sir, the production of, as we speak now and as we look forward, the production of 12.5 million bags of maize from the previous production of 7 million bags, it will be an achievement. Because that one, it will even prevent us from spending the unearned foreign currency, which can be used for other purposes. Instead of importing food with that money, it will be used for other purposes. Mr. Speaker, not that we standing, there are a number of aspects which the President talked positively and which impact on the economy of this country substantively, especially when it comes to the infrastructure development. When I hear that there will be and College connecting Makutano to Embu and Meru, that one inspires so much, because in black and white, it shows clearly that the bedrock of the Kenyan economy, where we have coffee, where we have tea and many other things, are going to be open to be accessed to the main capital for us to enable to export it without much difficulties. The expansion of RAFSET, which is going to open the northern part of the country and the northern corridor, the expansion of standard engaged railway, all those things are going to be positively impact on the Kenyan economy. And with those few remarks, I believe that the President is on the positive trajectory, and we should give him the support it's required. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
What's wrong with this thing? Honorable Sane Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the presidential state address, if you look at the tone of that speech, trying to move us from a third world disparate state to a first-class world is welcome. And that is manifest in his speech throughout the address. He means well. And that is anchored on hope. He's trying to give Kenyans hope that things cannot be the same. We have to think outside the box. There should be novel ways of governing this nation. Stewardship. Things must change. It is not for the ordinary to speak in that manner. The president seems disturbed and wants to change this country for the better, inculcating hope not only for his remaining second term, but for terms to follow. He means well that any leader should strive to take this country forward, not for the present generation, but for posterity, Mr. Speaker. That hope is what is expected of any leader. Every leader. A leader is required to give hope, not to give despair, not to lament to the people he leads. The folks represented by President William Ruto requires hope, even if there are serious, gigantic challenges facing this country. So I entirely accept with that part of the speech, where he wants us to change the mind, be positive, and focus on the future for the well-being of Kenyans generally. The president gave a very moving background where he found the state in 2022. High inflation, lack of affordability of common household goods, Mr. Speaker, the bad economy, nearly defaulting debt, sovereign debts, the Kenya shilling going down and, against the dollar, disadvantaging exporters of this country. Subsidies that were affecting our economy from growth, that were badly placed and were not well thought in some sectors, especially foodstuff, subsidies on foodstuff. And then he moved to production that he felt was better than subsidizing on consumption. He talked of the GDP then that was badly doing well, and the ratings by international institutions. Kenya was on the brink of the precipice then. That moving background and how it was transformed, at least in as much as we make noise, in as much as we have some discomfort, and never in life shall there be a perfect situation where all shall be happy and we will be happy. But to that extent, it's good to give support and commend where it deserves, Mr. Speaker. The president actually went out of his way to stabilize the country. Today, at least, we are thinking of growth. We are talking of changing situations from a bad to a better situation and growth. By then, there was no growth, there was negativity, a collapse. We were about to be a failed state like Somalia. For that, we commend the president. And being a UDA MP, we have come to power on a platform not of psychophancy, but objective criticism. At times, we will criticize where we feel things are not right. He mentored me, myself, not to be a coward. I'm afraid I can see, Mr. Speaker, time is up, and I wanted to address a few things.
No, proceed. You have given him an additional.
So, Mr. Speaker, the president gave a very flowery, sweet, persuading speech. Nice, good in language. I fear at times it may blind us from attaining the good things he wanted to. However, it was a very nice speech. But he had done many things. He talked of 300,000 companies establishing in Kenya, meaning there is more investor confidence in this country. And with employees, 300,000, companies, that comes with employment of our youth, most of the Gen Zs who have been in the streets carrying sufurias, coming to parliament, chasing us through the tunnels. You can remember what we went through the last 2 years. Mr. Speaker, SHA is doing well, except for some teething issues. Unfortunately, my constituency manager was turned back yesterday, having contributed the last 3 years to the SHA thing. It has some systemic issues that need to be addressed. But it doesn't mean it's not doing well. It is doing well. Many have been assisted. And it's a success story for His Excellency the President, Mr. Speaker. KEMSA, for the first time, we don't hear quarrels with governors. KEMSA is perfectly performing its duties, making sure that there are no expired drugs. Drugs are delivered in a timely manner to county governments. Community health workers, the preventive aspects of diseases before we talk of curative, are doing well. They are present all over the country, trying to look at the status of Kenyans before they seek medical care. That in itself will reduce the burden of cost of healthcare in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am a pastoralist. Before I go to pastoralism, on the education sector, the President acknowledged the creation of classrooms with the help of NGCDF. The concern is NGCDF did a great work in making sure that there are infrastructure, more so classrooms in the rural part of this country, in northern Kenya. With the coming to end of NGCDF, if we don't think and move with speed, by 30th June, the court has ruled that NGCDF shall stop. What will befall northern Kenya after that? Because the first presence of the government in northern Kenya is NGCDF. If that will cease to operate by 30th June 2026, then we will be challenged in northern Kenya. So it is good the President appreciated the importance of NGCDF. But are we really looking forward on how the status will be like from 30th June 2026, Mr. Speaker? Yes, it is true the President has employed, this government has employed many teachers. For the first time, northern Kenya is advantaged. Northern Kenya. But I have issues with balance. There are so many teachers in other parts of the country who are not doing any work. Localization of teachers has costed northern Kenya. We need more teachers. Yes, he employed many teachers, and I appreciate. But are these teachers going to where they are required? We need to balance teachers across this country. Many teachers are in parts of central Kenya and other parts, yet they are required in northern Kenya, they are required in Nyanza. There needs to be a balance on how these teachers should be posted, Mr. Speaker. Overseas scholarship. It is true there have been so many overseas scholarships, but there is so much corruption in that. Deserving students from northern Kenya, poor students from other parts of the country do not get these scholarships. It is something shared for those. We used to have experts who have mentored many professionals in ASALs, courtesy of scholarships, overseas scholarships. That is no more. Today, it is shared. It is shared by the few who are privileged around the places these scholarships are being offered. TVET. It is true this government has done much, has taken a leap in making sure that there are TVETs across the country, giving diploma and diploma level education. But of concern to me, Mr. Speaker, there are some TVETs in northern Kenya that are yet not operational. I think it is important that the ministry makes sure that the TVET in Bute, Wajir North, is completed and operational to serve the constituents and many others in northern Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Universities. It is true universities have been given good funding, more support, but there are concerns on governance. Governance. Most of the universities are failing because of governance. While the government has dispersed colossal amounts of money to them, there are issues of governance. Who should be the vice chancellor? Who should be what? That is bedeviling the higher institutions, Mr. Speaker. On housing, it is true there has been big projects on housing. But in northern Kenya, they are very slow. I don't mean that they are not there. There are few, one in Garissa, one properly in some constituencies, but majority of the constituencies like these housing markets, the department is so slow. I know they mean well and they are in pipeline. We want this to be fast-tracked so that Wajir North gets the ESP markets, the housing, affordable housing projects, housing for police stations, and many others as expected. On the Hustler Fund, Mr. Speaker, it's a good program, but Northern Kenya is yet to benefit from it. Probably because of the interest aspect of it. We did request the President to improve on it so that it is Sharia compliant. I'm sure few have benefit, but we are so much optimistic that the Nyota program will be doing well, because Nyota is constituency-based. We will be benefiting from the Nyota program. On the digital innovation hubs, Mr. Speaker, yes, the President did say that much has been done and many more shall be implemented. And they are on the way to be implemented. I would request that this be speeded so that the ASALs that are disadvantaged get this internet connectivity. On airports, Mr. Speaker, Garissa requires an international airport. Mandera requires an international airport. Wajir is a military airport. The civilians require an international airport. Marsabit requires an airport. Isiolo is an international airport that has challenges, probably because the runway is not complete for many years. I think it is time that the airport should not appraise for coast, Nairobi and other parts of this country, but also should go to the northern frontiers, Mr. Speaker. The President did mention himself severally in his speech on ASALs, that Kenya's 85% ASAL is the game changer. If Kenya is to achieve the double-digit economy as envisaged, it can only happen if we invest in the ASALs. That is welcome. Mr. Speaker,
Give him additional 2 or 3 minutes. Proceed. You're making a lot of sense.
Mr. Speaker, as livestock, there was much focus on what was usually the normal, on the white highlands livelihoods, dairy, cashew nuts, cotton, paideram, things of manual contribution to the economy. The livestock sector, the sleeping giant, that which holds the 85% of our landmass, was rather not given serious focus. I beg the President that he puts his eye on that part of the Puntland and Somaliland, minute states, breakaway states, not states actually. I can't call them, it's illegal to call them states, regions, Mr. Speaker, are exporting livestock annually, big amounts, to the Gulf states. Yet Kenya has the potential to do much more, because ours is a government that is existing. That's a failed government, Mr. Speaker. Disease-free zones have not been created in northern Kenya. So how do we take advantage of the beef and the livestock we own? Mr. Speaker, infrastructure, suppose we are to trade on our livestock. Where is the railway to transport? Right now, we can't move livestock to Kenya Meat Commission. Just because once it rains, we can't do business with Kenya Meat Commission. We need better roads. When it comes to roads, it's not only this Isiolo-Mandera road. I'm talking of Liboi-Garissa road. I'm talking of Wajir to Div road. Inter and intra, across the counties to neighboring countries. Mandera, Bute, Moyale to Ethiopia road. We have major roads, trunk roads. These deserve also being tarmacked to standards so required, Mr. Speaker. Of dams and solar and wind power, the President talked of trying to invest. All that shall be in the asals. And if we were to do that, it behoves on the same government that the infrastructure be improved. I know the President mean well. We were only emotional, and we were begging for his empathy. That is all. We need to be considered. We have been marginalized for over 62 years. For 62 years. We wanted his speech to start with Northern Kenya, half of the speech to address Northern Kenya. But that doesn't mean he did ignore us. We call for his empathy, his kindness, to bring us up to speed and enjoy the fruits of this nation. Independence is for us all, not for part of this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Followed by Honorable Cherarot, followed by Elisha. Honorable Elisha. Proceed, Honorable Cherarot. Give him the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this time so that I can be able to contribute towards the presidential speech. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the speech of the president, the state of the speech that he gave on that day, it is about his life, it is about his experience and interaction with Kenyans, and the direction that he wants to take Kenya. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that the president actually gave us the right trajectory, and whatever he has done in this country. His speech was about the past, the present, and the future, where we are heading as a country. I want to say that in his delivery of service, the president gave us the full program, what he has done with the projects, and also what he is planning to do in the near future. This one, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I cannot compare with any president who has led in this country. He's the only president who has got the capacity, he has the skills, he has the wisdom, and he has also a vision to take this country. Like what he said, that when he started, he had a vision. And that day, he had a story to tell. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that Kenyans have to reciprocate what the president has done in this country. This nation, I know, we've been derailed for a long time. We've had several presidents who have actually led this country, but they have not managed to take the bull by the horns and do what is required in this country. The level that he has taken this country to, I want to say that we are actually moving from the third world to a developing world. We have seen this through some of the initiatives that he started. When he came in, I remember Kenyans, we had about 7 million Kenyans who were on the CRPs. And what he did was to make sure that he assists and make sure that those Kenyans were removed from the CRP. He brought in the Hustler Fund, which actually has helped many Kenyans to build themselves economically and to do some business. He has also brought in the issue of online business by starting the ICT hubs, whereby in most of the constituencies, we have those ICT hubs, and most of our young people, Mr. Speaker, are now doing business or online business or digital business. I want to say that many Kenyans have made a lot of money out of it. And in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, our president also worked on the issue of foreign jobs, whereby many Kenyans, as we talk now, are in abroad. They are working, and others are doing business. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, this is one way of making Kenya actually economically fit, and also pushing forward the economy of this country. I want to say through his leadership, our economy has grown, leave alone the naysayers who have been talking a lot of nonsense, trying to oppose what the president is doing. despite the challenges, despite the negativity that some people are trying to bring in, Mr. Speaker, our president has really worked hard, and he has brought in a lot of ideas, a lot of programs, and so many projects. When we see about SHA actually is one of the programs that the president brought in. I know we had NHIF, which we had a lot of issues, a lot of challenges. I want to tell a story, Mr. Speaker. One day I visited one of my constituencies, and in the hospital, St. Leonard, I met this old man who was admitted, and what he asked me was that, is this rich man also with me here belongs to this place, or do I belong to this place? Because he couldn't believe, because St. Leonard is an hospital whereby the rich go there. But this old man from a humble family, he could not believe himself, and that is about SHA, which means it has brought equality in our country. Mr. Speaker.
Give him additional 3 minutes. So.
Mr. Speaker.
Or 4 minutes, yeah.
I want to say that many people are talking negative about SHA, but I want to say that it is working, and it's only a matter of trying to adjust. Mr. Speaker, I want also to talk about agriculture. When we came in, when the president took over, we used to import a lot of stuff, a lot of sugar. We used to import even maize. But right now, we are heading to the direction where we are going to export. Through the subsidy of fertilizer from 7,000 to 2,500. And not only that, the fertilizer actually is down there to the village, whereby farmers cannot spend even money to go and pick from the cereal boards. Mr. Speaker, we also have like CHPs. CHPs, Mr. Speaker, they visit the village, they go to homesteads, checking those who are not feeling well, and even checking the pressure and even diabetes. And I want to say that this is another way that the president has actually improved the health center, health care. Mr. Speaker, I want to say also we used to import sugar, but currently we are not importing sugar. Very soon we are going to export. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about also electricity, the connectivity. In almost most of the villages now are connected, and those who have not gotten the connection, it is on the process. And I want to say that it's because the president has really, really tried to improve the standard of our people. If you can see, the basic needs of human being are food, clothing, and shelter. The affordable houses, Mr. Speaker, if you go to most of these towns, go to several areas. I've visited Narok and several other places. You can see markets, new markets coming up. You can see new houses coming up. And this is actually because of what the president is doing to see that Kenyans live a better life. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to also the issue of our youth, the president has tried the much that he can to make sure that our youth actually are attended to. We have had several attachments in most of the institutions, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, because of this, the other succeeding governments or the previous government could not do that. So most of our youths are engaged, and they are doing that. When the president came in, Mr. Speaker, we also had this burden of Eurobond. He didn't sit and cry like other people, but what he did was to make sure he swung into action and start paying the Eurobond, Mr. Speaker. So there are those who are saying that the numbers, the economical growth that we have is not genuine. I want to tell them that what the president has done has improved this country. And given another chance, another term, come 2027, I want to say that Kenya will be another Malaysia. The other day, Mr. Speaker, we had the Prime Minister of Malaysia who was around here, and the discussion was about the business. When it comes to issue of roads and infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, this road from Rironi all the way to Mau Summit, and also from Mau Summit to Malaba, also from Mau Summit to Kisumu and Kisii, I want to say Kenya will not be the same again. It is going to help us to reduce accidents. It's going to make it easy for the traffic flow, and we are not going to spend a lot of fuel on the way when we are traveling home, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that this is not only Rironi up to that area of Mau Summit, but the whole country will be connected. They will have good roads. Let us give our president another chance. And I want to say that you will be able to be impressed by what he's going to do. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. I want to say that congratulations to the president. We wish him all the best. We pray for him. May he have a good health. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Elisha. Is Honorable Eva Barra in the House?
No.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make my contribution on the President's speech. First, allow me to congratulate the President for a very eloquent, bold, and explicit speech that detailed strategic and elaborate plans for this country. In his opening remarks, for those who heard the President, he was extremely optimistic. And he made me more optimistic. One, because for the first time in the history of Kenya, the loans that are being taken in this country are going to be equitably distributed to all parts of the country. And as I listened to the President's speech, especially the infrastructure development, and mentioning that it's going to dual Rironi Mau Summit Road, and that the road will be dual to Kisumu, and it will proceed from Kisumu to Busia. Then he mentioned the railway line that is going to proceed up to Malaba, and that railway line, Mr. Speaker, sir, is going to pass through Yala in Game. With those indicators, I am sure in my mind that Game as a constituency will give the President a second chance under my leadership. Secondly, the President mentioned when he picked the economy, it was in tatters. The dollar was at 162. Today, as we talk, today in this market, to sell the dollar, you're selling at 129.8. To buy it is at 130. So what does that mean? It means consistently the President has done what it takes for a head of state to ensure that the economy is stable. He equally mentioned on the issue of health. And what the President has pushed largely is to ensure that community health workers, which is the best line in any country that wants to take care of the citizens, so that the community health workers are equipped with medical equipment that are able to establish if you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes. So at the frontal, with that basic treatment, you can be able to be taken to the next hospital. And I think I want to congratulate His Excellency for doing a superb job in the health sector. But equally, he also mentioned issues to do with security and the interventions, elaborate interventions that I've done in terms of ensuring that this country is safe. And I can say without an iota of doubt, what has happened during the President's time, especially the performance of the Needs Director, Haji, the performance of Murkomen, and the performance of the PS, Dr. Raymond Omolo, is beyond measure. They have done a super job to ensure this country remains safe.
Just a moment, Elisha. Is this are you on a point of order or a point of information?
I want to indulge my friend and my close friend and I want to beg him, to beseech him. He allows me, I just give him a point of information, just for record purposes.
Is he willing to be informed? Oh, just a moment. Are you willing to be informed by the MP for Funyula?
Unless, as a good professor, you know coefficient of correlation or coefficient of determination. I prefer you take the school of coefficient of determination.
I don't, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to drag us, we go through at the university, but I just wanted to go on record, and I think this has been peddled here, has been stated so many times, which is incorrect. Honorable Speaker, I'm just looking at the website of Central Bank of Kenya. On 23rd September 2022, the dollar exchange rate was 120.54. That was the dollar exchange rate, and this is a record from the Central Bank of Kenya.
Which year?
2022. It was on September 2022, the dollar exchange rate was 120.54, and like what my good friend and neighbor, you know, have to pass through his constitution to go to my place, indicated it was 160. They need to go on record, and this official record from also, Central Bank of Kenya.
You need also to, a scholar, to find out exactly what was the reserves at that time. How much was the dollar reserve? That was, because the dollar reserve is, in a sense, what also mitigates the dollar against the shilling, because when you have more reserve, then of course you're able to control that. But when there's a small reserve, then there's a problem. So are you able to give that a correlation also?
Honorable Speaker, given a minute or so, I can research and research.
Because the assertion by a number of members of parliament who have contributed on this is that we had very little reserves when we took over, and I think that was also in the speech of the president. And then the spiral, the downward spiral, happened immediately after the elections. Progressively, it went all the way to 160. Was it 162, 163? Something like that. I mean, just because you want to inform, I might as well inform you that you need to do a little bit more research than that, so that to get the exact condition of our economy at the time when the changes did happen. You realize that the Speaker's panel and the member who is on the chair, he is also a member of Parliament who represents the constituency. Is not an ex-official like the Speaker. But anyway, proceed. You have heard what you have been, information that was given to you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for that intervention. But I think you cannot logically pick on just one data of 1 month without looking at the whole year to be able to have an incontrovertible evidence that then would school all of us to be able to convince that the professor, the content of his brain is that of a professor. But on this one, I'm sure you're not on the right place of history. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the President equally mentioned issue to do with getting Kenya from third world to first world. And I agree with him on one matter, especially on generation of electricity. As a country now, this country, we are generating 3,100 megawatts. Our consumption in the evening when Mama Mboga is cooking is 2,347. The effective capacity of the system is 2,600. So you can imagine with all the members of parliament demanding that their constituencies are lit, it means we'll go beyond the capacity. So it's important that we do much more investment as the president is posed to ensure that we can get to 5,000. You can imagine that just one plant in Ethiopia, an hydro plant, is generating 5,000 megawatts. When a country like ours, we are only generating 3,100. In fact, for the country, we as a country, we are importing 200 megawatts from Ethiopia to supplement our needs. That's why sometimes we go on, we go off power because we don't have enough. So I agree with the president, and I encourage the people from Siaya that once we agree on establishing a geothermal plant, a nuclear plant, let us support the nuclear plant because one will be able to generate in one fold 4,000 megawatts. And other than that, before the plant is built, we'll be able to have a nuclear research reactor that will be able to help us produce isotopes that will help us in the field of cancer, especially ameliorating those suffering from cancer. And two, in biotechnology research. The nuclear reactor has been used in other spheres, in other spaces, to be able to develop countries in areas of agriculture and even in health. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and give him the assurance that he still go for a second term. Why? Because he's equitably distributing resources in Kenya, as opposed to those other governments that have served us before, where we took a lot of loans and all those loans were only used in central Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dick Maungu, followed by the Honorable Oyula.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me an opportunity to also contribute to this important debate on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President last week. Mr. Speaker, the address of the President of to the National Assembly is a constitutional requirement, and Kenyans across this country waited in bated breath to hear the President address them touching on a number of issues, Mr. Speaker. I was one of such leaders who went through to listen what the President had in terms of a message to the great nation of our country. Mr. Speaker, I picked a number of issues that he talked about, but maybe I'll just wish to talk about a few that I felt really impacted, would have great impact and even beyond to the great people of Luanda whom I represent. 3 years down the line, I think the country has moved quite a number of challenges, Mr. Speaker, because when we first began, a number of challenges did face our country as a nation. And I think 3 years down the line, we have seen a climb down of these challenges, Mr. Speaker. And the President's address was on a number of issues, Mr. Speaker, or rather touched on many other fronts, Mr. Speaker. And in this Parliament, Mr. Speaker, I happen to have the privilege of sitting in the Education Committee. And it's true, one of the things that faced this government was the introduction of CBC or CB, Mr. Speaker. And at that time, there was a debate as to where teachers will come from to bridge the gap of teacher shortages, Mr. Speaker. There was a question of where do we place our learners in junior secondary. I remember the former regime had even gone ahead to construct classrooms in senior school in preparation for placement of our learners in senior school, Mr. Speaker. But upon coming into administration, I think a number of things happened. And one of the things I must applaud was the employment, or rather the recruitment of teachers to bridge the gap that existed. So far, I heard the President say that his government has been able to recruit close to 76,000 teachers, Mr. Speaker, which, as a member of the Education Committee, I can confirm that I've actually been able to see that. And a commitment to recruit a further 24,000 teachers, Mr. Speaker. This, to me, has grown a great way in addressing the teacher shortage gap that we as a country have faced, and it is unprecedented, Mr. Speaker. Since independence, no administration has been able to employ such a big number of teachers to address the teacher shortage like this administration. The Swahili have a saying, Mr. Speaker, that mgala muwe lakini haki mpe. I think this is one such case, Mr. Speaker, that we should applaud the administration for having found it fit to bridge this big gap, Mr. Speaker, and address the huge teacher shortage. The only thing I may want to request, Mr. Speaker, is that currently we have 24,000 intern teachers who are currently on internship, Mr. Speaker. My prayer to the administration will be that these teachers be confirmed so that they can also have an opportunity to meet their daily needs and obligations as the agitation has been, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, I want to say thank you to the President and administration for having found it fit to really recruit 24,000 to 74,000 teachers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come from Western Kenya, and one of the great things we've suffered as a people is how we navigate our ways from Nairobi to the villages, especially during high peak seasons. On this, I speak about the major road that we have from Nairobi through Nakuru all the way to Western Kenya, Mr. Speaker. It's a fact, year in, year out, Mr. Speaker, we see gridlocks. We see people spending nights on the road. It will take a very, very few minutes, Mr. Speaker, for someone to travel from Nairobi, let's say to Nyeri, because a dual carriage is available and they'll actually spend their Christmas with their families. But people from Western Kenya, Nakuru, Eldoret, Western, and the entire Rift and the entire Nyanza, Mr. Speaker, our people for years have been spending nights on this road, Mr. Speaker. A gridlock at Naivasha, a gridlock at Nakuru, without the ability to reach their homes, Mr. Speaker. And it's always a nightmare for those who cannot afford air transport because they have to go by the road, Mr. Speaker. They'll have to spend 2 days or 3. As late as the other day, about 2 weeks ago, it was not Christmas, but people spent a night by the way bridge in Naivasha because an accident had happened and there was no other way that the people could reach, Mr. Speaker.
Give him an additional 3 or 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker,
proceed.
for your magnanimity.
Yes.
And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the proposal to have a dual carriage from Rironi all the way to Mau Summit will be a great relief to the people of Western Kenya who are rightfully members of this country, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this is one thing that I want to applaud this administration, Mr. Speaker, because a contract has already been declared awarded, and I look forward, Mr. Speaker, to this new regime whereby our people can be able to transit from Nairobi all the way to Western without having to spend on the road, Mr. Speaker. A new other thing, Mr. Speaker, is the SGR. The former administration did terminate this SGR at Naivasha. But we have plans, including in my constituency, Luanda, where an area has been earmarked whereby the SGR will pass through, Mr. Speaker. Coming from Naivasha all the way to Kisumu, through Luanda, all the way to Butere, all the way to the border, Mr. Speaker. That, to me, will be able to remove these heavy trucks that are on our roads into the railway, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, having a dual carriage on the road and having an SGR on the other side, Mr. Speaker, to us is a great relief. And therefore, I want to commend the President for that great thing, Mr. Speaker. Another matter of importance that I saw was the need to have a national infrastructure fund. Mr. Speaker, we may not do the same thing the same way and expect different results. We have serious shortage for infrastructure kitty, Mr. Speaker, because our roads are terribly bad. Kenya has about 14,000 paved roads only, yet we find that we need to pave much more than that, Mr. Speaker. The only way we can be able to do this, Mr. Speaker, is ensuring that we have a kitty that can be able to partner with the private sector so that we can be able to improve our infrastructure. That can only come from infrastructure fund, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to mention something here with reinvestment. We say that for you to be able to invest, Mr. Speaker, you must save. Kenya, for many years, has had mega savings in terms of pension, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we saw some reforms, Mr. Speaker, in trying to mobilize savings, whereby you find that since independence, for many years, Mr. Speaker, the accumulated savings that had been taken as pension, especially under NSSF, Mr. Speaker, was about 300 billion, Mr. Speaker. Yet, Mr. Speaker, we have other countries that have much bigger savings from which even the government can borrow, from which, Mr. Speaker, they can partner with the private sector to improve our infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, that's something that I should be able to really commend, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me mention about affordable housing. I was one of those few who were not very much for this, Mr. Speaker, but I've seen the transformation that comes with the affordable housing, Mr. Speaker, including markets. Currently, in my constituency, we have a modern market coming up worth 376 million, Mr. Speaker. My people for all these years have been doing their mechanized, their roads, but their business by the roadside, Mr. Speaker. For now, we have a market which is well progressed, and I believe this is coming courtesy of affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. With that, Mr. Speaker, we also have hostels for my TVET. Luanda, for example, was one of those few institutions that not have a TVET. Right now, I can brag, Mr. Speaker, that we have a TVET that has been established in this regime. And the TVET, Mr. Speaker, will equally be having an affordable hostel, Mr. Speaker. I mean, Mr. Speaker, what else would you expect as a country if these are not the things to talk about? I therefore want to say that from where I sit, the speech by the President actually exceeded expectation, met expectation, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward that by the time he comes for re-election, Mr. Speaker, he will have exceeded expectation so that Kenyans can actually give him an opportunity to serve more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Oyula followed by the Honorable Odege and Honorable Yusuf after that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute to the presidential speech. Mr. Speaker, the presidential speech brings out very clearly the areas this country has suffered and comes out to tell the country where we should go. This country has had a lot of problems, possibly because of not having foresight. But His Excellency, the President, has come up wisely and indicated the areas that Kenya should be, if only those activities or investments were carried out. Mr. Speaker, the President has outlined very clearly on what the country should do, what he intends to do on agriculture. Food shortage has been very common in Kenya, but now with the proposed arrangements the President has come up with, I'm sure Kenyans, if we work hard, there should be no more food shortage in Kenya. We should be like countries like India that instead of being importers have become exporters. In fact, Kenya now needs to be an exporter of food instead of importing things like maize and so forth. The President's proposals in his speech, I'm sure, are going to help Kenyans very well. Mr. Speaker, the President also touched on infrastructure, particularly the road network and the railways. Mr. Speaker, you know, like I do, some years back, moving from Garissa to Wajir was a nightmare. But I'm sure now things have changed. And it's only because of the President's wise concern. Mr. Speaker, the infrastructure is very important for a country's development. The business people can move freely, tourists can move freely, goods can be transported from one corner to the other without any hurdles. And I'm sure that's what the President has looked into. Having known Kenya very well, he is a person who has crisscrossed this country. So he knows all the problems that our country is in. And he can tell you which problem is where. And that's why he's able to mention most of these roads we have in Kenya. It's because of that that the President is looking ahead to make sure that some of these roads are properly constructed, are properly maintained, and we have also dual carriage to reduce the congestion we experience on our roads. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the education, the changes that are coming in education are going to be very helpful to our children. And without proper education, Mr. Speaker, we cannot export manpower out of Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, the introduction of technical schools are going to help a lot of our young women and men to advance beyond Kenya. That will also reduce the pressure on unemployment that we have in Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, what the President has come up with are very, very important, including the health sector, the power, and ICT. To be able to fund all these areas, Mr. Speaker, the President has proposed investments where monies can be invested for use in some of these projects. The President has proposed creation of a fund where some of the proceeds we'll get from some of our assets can be invested for use within the country.
Give him an additional 2 more minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we can talk of so many projects that are required to be done in this country. But without cash, we cannot do much. So in his wisdom, the president has proposed creation of a fund. And this fund, Mr. Speaker, is going to help the Kenyan economy. It's going to ensure that we avoid unnecessary borrowing. Some borrowing is not used for development, but for recurrent. So, Mr. Speaker, these investments, if well looked after, we will reduce our borrowing requirement. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the President for looking at this country and coming with a forward looking to help the country in the future. It does not mean that these things will be done tomorrow. This is going to be done in stages to make sure that we grow out evenly and ensure that the economy of this country can accommodate, can cover all the requirements of this country. With those few remarks, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for having given me the opportunity. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, we had caught the eye of Honorable Odinga, and followed by the Honorable Yusuf, followed by the Honorable Cynthia Muge, and then Kanchori Memusi, in that order, and then Manduku. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to join my colleagues in debating the President's presentation, which was here on Thursday last week. And as I'm also adding my voice to the same debate, allow me first to congratulate our President.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Yes, continue.
Okay.
Honorable Odinga, continue. Yes.
Allow me to congratulate our President for that eloquent presentation he made in this house here. And he touched on very, very key and essential areas which affect our country as we are standing here today. I want to pick on a number of issues, around 7, which are of very much important to me and my people of Nyatike. On food security, in fact, I was very happy to listen to what President came to pass to the people of Kenya. We cannot depend on rain-fed agriculture in our country if we want to sustain our food security in this country. If you look at our neighbors currently, they contribute over 60% of what we are consuming in Kenya today. And I don't want to deny this. Some of our neighbors are not very comfortable with us, and we cannot sit pretty trusting them to feed our nation. So as a country, we must wake up and ensure that in the next 5 to 10 years, we should be in a position to ensure that food we produce in Kenya is enough for our people. Today, if you go to our borders, that one of Kenya to Uganda and Kenya to Tanzania, you'll be surprised to see the number of lorries crossing to Kenya and leaving Kenya. Those lorries will cross to Kenya when they're full, and they'll cross Kenya to those countries when they're empty, which means our business community are visiting our neighboring countries to look for food for ourselves, which means we cannot feed ourselves. So if we go by what the President said, and we made sure that our semi-arid areas are irrigated to produce enough food for our people, I think this is the right direction to go. Because today, if our neighbors can close out their borders, Kenyans will cry or starve for food because we don't have enough food which is produced locally in our country. On the same note, I also want to challenge our ministries, because there are sometimes when our people produce, I would say rice, like in my constituency, we have struggled to start producing rice, but you find those small farmers there, they lack market where they can sell their paddy. And there was a moment when Ugandans were coming to my constituency and carry the raw paddy with them to Uganda. And after processing in Uganda, they again export to Kenya as Ugandan rice. So I would want to ask our country that as we are moving forward to ensure that we feed our people, we should also encourage our people to produce locally and when the market is also available for them. But when you produce and you don't have a market, because we are very happy importing, then again we discourage our people. But on food security, the president was very clear, and we have to support him in constructing dams and ensuring that we keep water enough for us to produce enough food for our people. On the sugar sector, again, my constituency, we are sugarcane farmers, and I want to echo this. When Sony Sugar was not working, our people got stranded with cane. And the private sector, which came forth and were telling us they were ready to do business with us, could not cope with the production, and our people really went at a loss. So on sugar sector, we lost it, and now we are back. And I want to thank the president for coming up with a very good strategy to ensure that our people are given enough opportunity to produce and get much needed profit for themselves. You're scaring me, that right? Honorable Speaker.
I give the honorable member an additional 4 minutes. Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you.
Odege, you need this time.
When I talk about infrastructure, there is no single country in the world which can move from third world to developed country without roads. So if we don't develop our roads up to the rural area, there is no single day we will reach a level where we can say we are now developed. So by our president coming here and say they are foreseeing a situation where they can tarmac up to 10,000 kilometers, even though it's not enough for the country, but it's a good start. There is no way we can claim any development if our roads are in pathetic situation. By coming up to open our roads into dwelling, I still want to urge the government that we ensure that our rural areas are also opened at the same pace, so that those who are seriously in need of agriculture health can get to the point where they want in the most needed time possible, so that we don't waste any time. But with roads, I can assure you of getting development very fast. In my constituency, also I want to thank the president, because since independence, we have never had any meaningful road. But today, as I'm standing here, around 100 kilometers of roads are being done in my constituency, which I think is history in my life and history to my people of Nyatike. On employment of teachers, again, I want to say there is no way we can have an educated population. When I was looking at the most educated countries in Africa, I was shocked to see Kenya not in the list of top 10. And you ask yourself, why? We need to be in top 2, not even 10, because I think we have what it takes to educate our people. So our ambition as a country, we should be the top when it comes to education, because we cannot allow ourselves to be a second fiddle to any country in Africa. We are the best, and we must maintain the best. So by employing more teachers, I think we're in the right direction. So the only bit which I want to ask the government, let us employ them and retain them by providing them what they need, both salary, security, and tools to deliver to our students in this country. That one will help us to move very fast. On health, I don't want to repeat much on this one, but what I wanted to say, Kenya is losing a lot of money when it comes to cancer treatment, which is currently being done majorly outside the country. Those machines which we are visiting outside the country, we can as well import them in our country here, so that we limit external treatment for our people. Let us zero in on major key diseases which are making our people to seek for treatment outside the country, so that we fix our own health issues in our country. But before I move out of health, I want to ask the government, let us not move as the national government and leave the county governments behind. 80% of our health needs are in the counties, and you will agree with me now, almost 90% of our county governments have not provided the health we need for our country. If I'm wrong, I beg to be corrected from any quarter. But when you go to the rural areas there, our level of treatment, when you go to the hospital and you leave satisfied, is when you get medicine from that facility. Not getting prescription, getting medicine from that facility. So it would be my urge. I know most governors are listening to me today. Let us compete. Let us not fix L at the national government level and not at the county level. Let us move at the same pace so that the health of Kenyans can be secured from national up to the county level at the dispensary and the lowest level possible. On electricity, because of time, let me move very fast. I want to thank the government because we are making more efforts.
The Honorable Odega, the Honorable Member for Nandi, Cynthia Muge, would want to inform you. Do you wish to be informed?
Yes.
Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and the Honorable Member of the floor for allowing me to inform them. Honorable Speaker, I want to first agree with him and also inform and confirm to him that the true measure of receiving quality healthcare is for you to walk into a facility, be checked, be diagnosed, be treated, and be given medicine as you leave. And it is exactly what's not happening in the county governments, Honorable Speaker. And he has also spoken that the governors are listening to him. I want to tell him that both the sitting and the future governors are listening to him, and he will be a happy man when the future comes.
Enough.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm well informed. And I want to thank her for, in fact, coming out very clearly. There is no way we'll dream of a healthy country if the county government does not fix health at the county level. We must, it's a demand we need to put forth as a country. Because as we are talking now, the issue of lack of medicine in our facilities, especially the lower ones down there, is alarming. People don't get treated. People don't get medicine. And the majority of people who are giving prescriptions to go and buy cannot afford those medicine. SHA will only work if you go to the hospital and you go back with the medicine. But if you go under SHA and you're given a prescription and you cannot afford medicine, we are killing our own society, which should not be the case. Let us see that we fix health, both from national up to the county level. Honorable Speaker, on issue of electricity, I happened to be in the Energy Committee. Last year, I was privileged to join my colleagues when we visited South Africa to benchmark on what they're doing there. I was shocked. Over 16,000 megawatts of electricity in South Africa are produced from wind. Over 10,000 are produced from solar. So as my colleague Elisa was talking very well about nuclear power, I know we can go and look for nuclear power for our country, but it will take time. Wind and solar are available today. Why don't we fix what we can fix immediately as we are waiting for the future ones? Because at 3,100 megawatts as a country, there is no productivity we can do using electricity. So any serious investor coming to the country, after seeing 3,000, they'll go away because we don't have electricity. Last but not least, let me skip the issue of housing. I finish by talking about security. I want to say and thank our government for what they have done on security. I know we have had a number of security lapses, including the ones in northern Kenya and other areas.
Yes.
But what the government has done so far is an assurance that we can protect our country. Like this week, there was a security scare in Moyale. And when you look at the response our country gave, I must say as a Kenyan and an MP in this country, that I'm very happy the way we are conducting security issues on our people. Let us keep it up and allow me also to congratulate our president and assure him of our support. Even if before I go for hours, and assure him of my support and my people of Nyatike for what he has done for my people in my constituency. Thank you.
Yeah, the Honorable MP for Wajir West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this, the presidential speech. Mr. Speaker, allow me first to congratulate the President on coming up with a very ambitious plan to take Kenya to the highest level. If I read this document, it clearly guides us to a better place if implemented the way it is. However, Mr. Speaker, as a member of parliament from northern Kenya, specifically Wajir West, I feel left out in this document completely. The president, in his own wisdom, has come up with an ambitious plan to have infrastructure bond or funds, to have electricity fund, and decided to do a dueling of roads in various roads, as he mentioned in his speech. But unfortunately, none is in northern Kenya. Mr. Speaker, as we talk about dueling of roads, some parts of this country have no single tarmac road. The president has promised to tarmac the road from Garissa to Mandera, Mr. Speaker. And some sections of that road has started. But the progress of the work and even the budgeting of that specific project is a problem, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we are talking about electricity, we don't have the grid in Mandera and in Wajir. And I was expecting the president at least to consider, at least, if not all, one of those projects to be completed within this 2 year coming. Mr. Speaker, we talk about housing, affordable housing, which is a very noble idea. But how many percent of these houses have been built in northern Kenya? I was hearing some saying they are having in their constituency 100 kilometers of roads. Some members speaking here, while we don't have even a single tarmac road, leave off the constituency, but the entire stretch of the region. I'm hearing others talking about markets, ESP markets, of around 300 million or 400 million. But none of that kind of markets are in northern Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask...
Yeah, hang on. Yes, what's your point of order, Honorable Cynthia?
Honorable Speaker, I do not have authority to speak on behalf of the people of Wajir or the people of the constituency that the honorable member comes from. But Honorable Speaker, as a member of this House and as a Kenyan, I would want to see the statement of fact to the effect that there is no single tarmac in Wajir, Honorable Speaker, because I had thought there is a bit of it, not exactly enough to satisfy the honorable member, but I want the statement of fact, Honorable Speaker, for record.
There is fair enough. I think that was a very general statement by the honorable member, both in the terms of the tarmac for the roads as well as the...
I will answer the good lady.
Yes.
There is no tarmac road in Wajir. If you want to believe, I can take you if you want.
Are you sure, honorable member?
Yes. There is no tarmac road that was built by this government, or even before. That is what I'm saying. From Madogashe to Wajir town, we can even travel if you want today. First from Madogashe to Samatar. That road is in annuity. in an annuity program. It was tendered, and again, the contractor failed to go there before this government. The problem is still continuing. The president promised to cancel the annuity program and to retender so that it will be built under the World Bank project. But none has started. From Samatar to Wajir, it is the Arab Consortium banks who are supposed to do. The tendering process, the advertisement was done, and it has not yet been awarded up to date. If you want the facts, we have the fact for you, my dear sister. On housing, Mr. Speaker, on this, now in my conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I want to request the President, let him include the Northern Kenya in this beautiful, ambitious plan, so that we are also part and parcel of this country, Mr. Speaker. I am very happy for the rest of the country who got the roads. I'm very happy for the rest of the country who got electricity. I'm not against the development of other parts of this country. And I congratulate and support the president to come up with this kind of programs, Mr. Speaker. However, I will be lying to the people of Wajir West if I don't say exactly if I'm excluded in this. It is not me against Bing or anybody, but I am saying, stating facts. I want to be included in this and to be part of the national cake. Mr. Speaker, we support the president 100%, and we are ready to support him.
Yeah, you give the honorable member an additional 3 minutes.
Not enough, Mr. Speaker. We support the president, and we are ready to support him. But we want and we are asking for the fair share of Northern Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I have seen the president coming up with a very brilliant idea of harvesting rainwater. But how many the dams he mentioned here, how many of those dams are from the 80% of the arid lands that we want to irrigate, and we want to produce food for the food security for this country? How many dams? Those are the questions we're asking. And we want the president to go back to the drawing board to rearrange and include us in his program so that we become part of the infrastructure finance. We become part of the programs that are done under the water irrigation systems. We become part of the electricity programs, Mr. Speaker. We want to see the Mingrid from Garissa to Wajir, or from Mayale to Wajir, or from Ethiopia to Mandera. We are just asking and requesting the president to include. We are not even saying we need tarmac roads in the constituency. We are asking for that stretch to be completed.
Honorable.
With those few remarks.
Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The fidelity to facts is a very important thing. And the chair draws your attention to 118 of the speech that was given by the president. It says the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation, alongside all relevant agencies, has already mapped the precise locations of these dams. This project spans the breadth of our republic from High Grand Falls, a mega dam on River Dawa in Mandera, Isiolo Barsalinga Dam, Yatta in Machakos, Sigli Canal in Garissa, Soinkoru in Kisumu, Romuruti in Laikipia, Duchi in Embu, and Naraka Nidi Lowat, Naraka Lidi Lowat in Turkana, Muhoya Dam in Yeri and Kirinyaga, Norusura in Narok, and Aror in Algeo Marakwet. Others include Ndarugu, in Kiambu, Kokwanyo in Homa Bay, Rare in Kilifi, Tongaren in Bungoma, and many more strategic sites. From this, we have 3 dams in the north. Order. Because the fidelity to facts is very important. And I suggest you read the. Yes.
I want to refer you to the presidential speech. With dams, we can transform our arid and semi-arid into hubs of agricultural production. 115. With dams, we can transform our arid and semi-arid areas into hubs of agricultural production, even in the absence of rainfall.
Do you want to be informed by the
No.
Honorable Cynthia?
Let me just say my point and then she can inform me later.
Yes, proceed.
So when we are talking about, the president is talking about 80% of the arid lands. I'm not saying we were not included. I said, how many of those dams are in the arid and semi-arid areas?
They're about, right now in the north alone, there are about 4.
4 out of 50. The Ministry of Waters and alongside
Order. We're not going to have back and forth. Just read 118. Don't cherry pick. Read the whole speech. Proceed. He's already on his. He's not on his feet, so he cannot be informed when he's not on his feet. You want to inform who now? No, but you want to inform. He declined your information. Fair enough, I have no authority to force him. No, the House is not misled because the House has got this and the chair has already drawn the attention of the Honorable Member to a bit of a fallacy in his own statements. And I think he's going to go back into this. And other members have, who are going to contribute, who also have copies of the speech. And you can inform. You can inform Honorable Memusi, who's the next one. Memusi, proceed. Because this is a discussion on the speech of the president, so you can inform anybody who is on his feet.
Yeah, thank you.
On any aspect of this speech itself. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable
Speaker. If he or she is willing to be informed. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, this seats are breaking.
What is happening?
We need maintenance here.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportunity to also join my colleagues in congratulating our president. Mr. Speaker, I've been in this House for quite some time now. And I must say that this is one of the best State of Nation addresses that I have ever sat to listen, ever since I joined this House. Why do I say that, Mr. Speaker? The reason why I say that, Honorable Speaker, is one, the State of the Nation's address by the President touched on almost every sector of this country. If you look at health, the President touched on something on the health sector. If you look at our road infrastructure, there was something in it. Most importantly, for the people of Kajiado County, we are happy, Honorable Speaker, to hear that Athi River Namanga Road will be dual carriage. What does this mean to the people of Kajiado? Honorable Speaker, in simple terms, it means that I can commute from Nairobi to Kajiado. I can live in my rural village and work in Nairobi. It means, Honorable Speaker, that the people who are doing business and are stuck in jam for hours can easily move and do their business. Honorable Speaker, the speech by the President also inspired the right-thinking Kenyans. It gave hope to many people. And I'm saying right-thinking Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, because in this country now, unfortunately, we are forming a culture of criticizing everything, not even understanding what you're criticizing. Just because it is the president who has said something, you want to bring out the negativity without even understanding what has been said. But I want to say the right-thinking Kenyans have been motivated because the potential of this country was clearly brought out by this speech. The potential of this country, we are able to grow our own food, we are able to feed our population. Facts were brought out, very scary facts on food security, that the entire country has been fed for a very long time by only 15% of the landmass of this country. Very scary, Mr. Speaker. Very scary because our population is increasing every day. We are giving birth. And yet, as a country, we have never thought about where our food is coming from. Someone somewhere is sitting pretty in this country and be comfortable to buy onions, buy tomatoes, buy everything and not thinking of where they're coming from. But the president triggered a conversation to tell Kenyans that it is not right that we have depended for so long. We have been dependent on only 15% of the landmass of this country to feed 85% of the landmass. The potential of this country is not only in the 15% of the landmass in this country. The potential of this country is also in the more than 70% of the arid areas in this country. And what did the president say about the arid areas of this country? He has brought out the potential that these areas can have to feed this country. In terms of water, the president is on record saying that we don't need rains to grow food. And many people have gone on social media not understanding that this is a possibility. They have gone to criticize the president's speech. And today, as I stand here before this House, Honorable Speaker, I want to be a testimony. I want to tell you that in Kajiado, right now, there are no rains. But I am growing fodder.
Honorable Mamusi, an additional 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to stand here and say I'm a testimony that in Kajiado, as much as it is dry, it has not rained, but some of us are irrigating fodder that is feeding animals. The migration of animals that we continuously see among the pastoralist community is something that can be ended.
Point of order.
What is out of order, Honorable Speaker? Please protect me from...
Give you a moment to...
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member is misleading the House and Kenyans that you can grow food without rain. And again, he goes further to say that the water they have reserved in the reservoirs. That means that water came from rain. So you need rain to have water in dams in order to irrigate. So you can't mislead Kenyans.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And it's good...
The honorable member means that you can have a non-rain-fed agriculture, which means either using dams or using underground water, subsurface water, both.
It's good that the
but
Honorable...
it's fair enough. He's happy with that.
It's good that the Honorable Wanjala has raised that issue so that I get an opportunity to educate not just him, but many other ignorant Kenyans on this fact. Honorable Speaker, countries like Israel receive less than 150 millimeters of rain.
But that is rain.
To grow crops, Honorable Speaker, you need a minimum of at least a month of rain.
Yes.
A month of rain to grow crops. That is rain-fed agriculture. But when you're doing irrigation, when you conserve your water, when it rains or when you have boreholes and you have conserved your water, even one rainfall can help germinate your crop And you can continuously irrigate throughout with no rains, but with the water that you have preserved. So Honorable Anjala, you know, when certain things are said, we say them from experience. I have just stated a fact that right now in Kajiado, we did not receive much rains. But I have dams that are full, and I'm irrigating fodder when there is no rain. So it is possible for Kenya to be fed from these arid and semi-arid areas, as opposed to us depending. Please, Honorable Anjala, allow me to finish my statement.
the Honorable.
You will come and also state your facts.
You don't allow people to mislead.
What is your point of order now again?
Mr. Speaker, I'm very clear.
Yes.
It's not that we cannot grow crops without the really raining,
Yes.
but we irrigate. But I'm saying that for you to get that water for irrigation, you must get it from rain. No, where do you know from?
Honorable Speaker, it is very sad for a leader